Okay. Next. Ganglion, or Ganglion, however you pronounce that. I believe this is a short series, like the web short or TV short. And I think it's about like the goons that like the transforming that the Henshin Rangers fight and stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but let's dive into it and see.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I expected from that one. I watched 2 episodes of Ganglion. Uh, Probably only needed to watch one, but they were 3-minute episodes, so I figured just in case something interesting happened, I'll watch another episode. But no, it's here's the thing. What the henchmen do after the Henshin heroes defeat the bad guy for any given day, what they do in their downtime sounds like a cool idea. And normally I'm not. Normally I am of the mindset of you can make any idea interesting. But we've had a few instances of this now, and I don't think, and they've all been pretty not good. Like the best instance of it was Go Go Loser Ranger, which I know some people liked. I didn't like it. I thought it was really boring. But I think this is one of those ideas where it's just like, yeah, you really can't make like a full series out of it. Maybe like a short film? Like, I think this idea tops out at a short film, I think. What the goons do in their downtime. Because it's really not interesting. It's literally just, they are doing the things that every other working person would do, but they're wearing their evil villain costume. And so occasionally they get dirty looks from people. But that also like brings up the idea of like, aren't they like criminals in this world? So why would they not be like getting arrested for associating with an evil organization? I'm sure they'll explain that later in the series, but the explanation for that couldn't possibly be interesting or fun. So it's like, I simply don't see what you could do with this idea. And you know what? It's not terribly animated. They're only 3-minute episodes, so there's not a lot to animate, but still, it's not bad looking. I just don't see much potential in this idea, let alone for a 2-core TV short series. It's just not that interesting.
Alright, Ganglion coming off the list. There's nothing there. Alright. SI-VIS, however you pronounce it, The Sound of Heroes. This is a 2-core series that's about music, I think, and also an action series that no one seemed to like. But it's also an anime original, so it's like, going into the season, people were like, oh man, we gotta watch like the one anime original that's coming out right now. No one seemed to like it, so let's give it a shot anyway.
Okay, that was something. I just watched probably about an episode and a quarter of SI-VIS, The Sound of Heroes. Yeah, man, we have Macross at home. But instead of space sci-fi, it's just interdimensional sci-fi, and also the rest of the world doesn't know about it. Like, that's the thing that actually led me to drop this, is like, the first episode ends with these aliens killing the main guy's cousin, and just eating all of Shibuya. Like, the entire ward is just gone now. And then he he goes to had like a medical checkup for this secret agency that where they have that SI-VIS is and works for. And the lady giving him the checkup's like, okay, you're like free to go home and everything, without explaining any of that to him, even though he participated directly in it. And so he has to ask her, like, what was that? And then she's like, oh, it was all this, this, this. And then they don't explain to him that, I'm assuming Shibuya just got wiped out of existence from people's memories or from history or something, with the way that these, I don't even remember what the things are that ate Shibuya. It was just some kind of weird robot bug things or whatever. And so like they let him like go to school and then be like, yeah, that thing that happened in Shibuya. And everyone's like, what's Shibuya? I'm like, why would you not explain to him everything that just happened? Like, if we're like, why would you not immediately explain? A shoddy exposition dump would have been better than this. In fact, we got half of a shoddy exposition dump because it's just so mechanical the way it's delivered. And you know, the animation's not terrible. It's fine. It's not great, but I would put this is solidly average animation and artwork and cinematography and such. The main girl, or well, both of the main girls are very cute. Actually, all three of the girls are very cute. A lot of cute girls in this. That's really all I can say as a net positive. Yeah, I can see why people didn't latch onto this one. Because also, they don't explain anything until the second episode. So it's like I understand show don't tell, but it's not even that. It's just show, and then you wait till the next episode to tell. And the showing doesn't really explain much other than, bug monsters just ate all of Shibuya. And I guess, I didn't even know that people didn't know that was happening until the next episode. Like, I just assumed there was going to be some big fallout on the news afterwards from this, but no. Cool. Yeah, Macross Delta was better. This is, if you didn't see my 2016 Rewind seasonal wrap-up show, I watched Macross Delta for that. It's better than this. This is, pretty frustrating.
Alright, SI-VIS off the list. Unfortunate that that's the state of anime originals nowadays, because I think that's, I don't know about this season, but like the previous season when that show started, it was like the only anime original from that season. So that's disappointing. Anyway, Dark Moon, The Blood Altar. I have not heard anybody talk about this at all. In fact, I'm not even sure what it looks like. I have no clue what the genre is. I'm gonna assume it's some kind of supernatural thing. Let's find out, I guess.
So I've recently discovered a bit of a mild annoyance with my tech entertainment setup. Most of the time when I'm watching anime, I am using a mobile app and casting it to the TV with my Chromecast. I used to just use the Roku app for it, but for some reason I can't sign into it anymore. So it's just busted. So that's annoying. So I have to use it from my app, from my phone app. But when someone calls me, if someone is calling me on my phone, there's no option to, I haven't figured out how to just swipe down and pause the episode before taking the call. so it's very annoying. And so sometimes I will just, if I know the call's going to be quick, I won't even pause the episode. I'll just take the call and just like watch the episode while I'm listening to this phone call that I don't really feel like taking. All of which to say is I took a phone call in the middle of watching Dark Moon, the Blood Altar, and I missed zero fucking information. Just the most repetitive, uninteresting, boring, unnecessary dialogue I've seen in a very long time. Also, this show looks like poop. Very bad color design. It's saturated in all the wrong places and not saturated in all the right places. Also, I've like immediately poked a hole in the thing. It's like this is a night class where there's a very also this is a world where vampires just exist, and they went with like the most basic ass lame vampire things. It's like anyone who gets bitten turns into a vampire. Okay. And also vampires can't be killed. Like, okay. Not even like garlic or stake through the heart or werewolf or anything like that. Just can't be killed. Okay. Fucking lame, but okay. I'm sure they'll reverse that at some point. But also they said like this is a night class academy, and we're very thorough about screening our students to see if they're vampires or not. No vampire can get into this school because we screen them so thoroughly at the entrance exam. I'm like, okay. What about afterwards? Yeah, show bad.
Alright, well, that was pretty lame. Dark Moon, Blood Altar, off the list. Next. Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord. Okay, got a fantasy series. Let's see if it looks like looks pretty self-explanatory based on the title. Haven't heard a peep about this show. Let's give it a shot.
Well, that sure was a thing I just watched. I got through 2 episodes of Easygoing Territory Defense something whatever. Because I actually thought it had a mild bit of promise after the first episode, because it's like, how do I describe what the appeal of that first episode was? It was just competent, I guess. It was doing the bare minimum to not piss me off. Like the isekaiing. The isekaiing actually is... I actually really like the isekai intro at the end of this, because it's this more simplified, very flowing art style that turns into like this animation loop of an office worker just doing like his 9 to 5. Like you see like a clock turn into a cup of ramen, and then you see a train, and you see him on the train, and like it plays in a loop like that with a pretty decent color palette behind it. I'm like, okay, you are doing pretty much exactly what I want in terms of like speed running the isekaiing part, because like at this point the isekaiing is not interesting anymore. Like we kind of get it. So you gotta like really work for it if you want to do like an extended pre-isekai sequence. Like a lot of isekai just don't even have that anymore. They just cut straight to the isekaiing. Like hence the, what was it, Gentle Noble, whatever. Where I went on the thing about that, where how I immediately knew it was an isekai even without them saying it right away. And so I was like, okay, you got me here. You sped run the isekaiing. I like his head maid. She's very cute and very bubbly. She's exactly the kind of character that I want in that particular role. It, I mean, it reminded me a little bit of Parallel World Pharmacy, just like in terms of aesthetic, I guess. It just makes me think of that for some reason, and two, just sort of the mood, I guess, where it's not up until the reveal of him not having a powerful magic attribute. It's like pretty mild in terms of the tone, very easygoing, but also like has a purpose. Like uh, all the necessary building blocks are there, and we established that like the main character is just like a good guy. He really doesn't care that he's a noble, even though he's being raised like one, presumably. He just interacts with everybody like normal, hence him buying a slave that's being beaten in the public square. While we're on that, okay, so the scene is a dad is bringing his son to be sold because like he has too many mouths to feed, and like the dad and the son very clearly have like darker skin than our main character Van. And the dad in particular seems very Arab coded. So I'm like, okay, Arab slave trader. Okay, fine, that's a trope. We'll deal with it. That's not the issue that I have though. That's not the issue. After Van buys the slave, we cut to, I don't know how much longer later. It doesn't seem like that much longer later. And the slave, whose name is Kamsin, by the way. So again, very Arab coded. His skin turns white. Like, it's insane. Like, the cut from the end of the slave buying scene to the part where he is just Van's servant now, they look like completely different characters. Not just because of like the haircut and the different clothes, but because he has a different skin tone. They literally whitewashed him. Huh? So I was like, what the fuck? Because I was so thrown off by this. I did not even I was like, wait, that's the character that I just saw. What? I had to rewind and double check to make sure. Fucking weird. I don't know, man. Anyway, so we get through that. He gets expelled from his house because he has shitty magic which, on the one hand, I was like, production magic seems pretty useful, actually. But then, like, they explain in the second episode that, like, most people, they can only, like, just making one sword gets them winded and drains their mana. But in the second episode, he's making fucking hundreds and hundreds of things. So it's like, okay, vastly overpowered, but such is this genre. But the second episode, they get to the village that he's been assigned to as the lord of. And it's being attacked by bandits. And they have like a fucking 15-minute conversation out in the open behind these bandits about what to do or whether they should help out the village or not. And it's like, do the bandits not notice them at all? Like the very shiny carriage of the noble directly behind them? Do they not see it at all? Apparently they don't, because they get fucking ambushed by arrows once Von finally decides on a plan of attack. And then it's just like, oh, the butler's also fucking super powered. And then just the action directing just completely devolves from there. It just turns into a nonsense string of scenes edited together that are just not fun to follow. The action's not good, and the action and like the battle directing is not good. Uh, so like everything about like it. The first episode had some promise behind it, but then the second episode just absolutely completely shit the bed. It was so tedious and awkwardly put together in terms of like the narrative structure of it, and so like corny in ways that I don't like things to be corny. Uh yeah, this was, it had some promise I think, but no, I'm not sticking with this one.
Yeah, I kind of wish that was good. I was hoping for just a good mid-tier isekai, but it is not. Easygoing territory defense off the list. Alright. Next up are the two High Dive exclusives for the season that are on my list. First is Hell Mode. I don't know anything about this. I think it's an action fantasy series, but I'm not sure. But I guess we're going to find out.
Okay, well, I will say that much like the last one, I like how the isekaiing happens in this. Like the premise really just kind of says it all. It's like gamer is bored with the games that he plays, and so he wants something insanely challenging, and so then isekai prompt comes up on his screen. He thinks it's a game. He's like, yeah, I'll play your game on hell mode. Ooh. Which turns out to be not that difficult, actually, from what I've seen of it. But anyway, then he gets isekai'd and gets reborn as a baby, as a serf in this new world. So it's like, okay. Well, I should say okay in my positive sense. Like, that worked. That was a decent isekai intro, but then everything after that was just so nothing. It was just non-stop. Well, like 80% of it is like just him going over the mechanics of being a summoner in this world, which isn't very interesting. It's not an interesting power system. And then like 20% him learning about the world, I guess. It's just kind of boring. It also looks bad. This is incredibly mediocre animation at best. And also, like, okay, so at level 2 he learns the fusion skill, but his max MP doesn't allow him to do that yet, so he has to wait till the next level. So I'm like, okay, funny little gimmick there. But then he fuses a frog and a mouse. And I'm like, okay, is it going to be like some weird mouse-frog hybrid? No, it's a bird. He gets a parakeet out of it. What? Why? Like, there isn't even any logic there. It's like, frog on the ground. Mouse on the ground. Parakeet in the air. Oh, why? It's not good.
Okay, that was not particularly interesting. Hell Mode is off the list. Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling is the other High Dive show from the season. I like the concept. I think that is a cool concept. I think it was already done by an anime either last year or 2 years ago. But, man, it sounds cool. Let's give it a shot.
I am unsure as to why I watched like 2.5 episodes of that when I very clearly shouldn't have watched more than one. Probably because I kept wanting it to be something that it very clearly wasn't. And I think what I wanted it to be was Pokemon. Like, like I wanted it to be, oh, Dragon Hatchling meets human adventurer girl, and then they go on adventures together. Like, I'm sure that will probably happen at some point, since she's on the key visual. But I was kind of hoping, like, that's how it would be, like, from episode 2 or something onwards. Meanwhile, he's already evolved into a young plague dragon. So, I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Aside from that, this show looks like dog shit. I like the baby dragon design. Very, we have Agumon at home. But I like it. And I do like it really is kind of Pokemon-y in terms of, like, the move sets and stuff and the skills. But aside from that, there's really nothing interesting about this series. And there's so many really bad CG monsters in it. Like, the wolves in particular look fucking terrible. The final straw, I think, was when, like, he evolved into the young plague dragon, and even that was CG. Now, like, oh, you can't even do the main character in just regular 2D animation? Like, no. I'm not dealing with that. Man, disappointing. I'm still looking for, like, the one from this season where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm looking for the show where it's like, I would not have normally tried this out. But I'm glad that I did. I think I still would have actually tried this out, though, if I was just randomly picking stuff from the season to watch. Like, score aside, this seems like something that, if it was done well, because it's also got a lot of a Re-Slime influence in it too, and if it had the writing chops of that, I think it could have done well. Yeah, this is just not good.
Okay. Reincarnated as a dragon hatching, unfortunately coming off the list. And as a side note, I actually ended up canceling my High Dive subscription after this because it's due my yearly subscription is due halfway through April, but it's just not worth it anymore. Like, there were only 2 exclusive seasonals for High Dive this season, and both of them were bad. Like, even Oshinoko was not exclusive to High Dive anymore. The last thing that was exclusive to High Dive that was good was Call of the Night Season 2 from last year, which was really solid, but one show does not make a streaming service worth it. And also the app just doesn't fucking work anymore, which I Chromecast everything, so I actually had to go to the High Dive website to watch the last 2 shows, and it was very fucking annoying to just sit in my computer and watch it. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I got in on the ground floor of High Dive, and now it's just kind of garbage. Unfortunate. Anyway, Dead Account. The name gives me the ick in terms of, like, I just know this is going to be bad and probably a little edgy. But fuck it. Let's give it a shot.
Alright, well, I got way farther in that than I was expecting. Still didn't finish it, but I got 5 episodes and some change into Dead Account, which turns out to be just like a standard shonen series. Just a standard shonen exorcist series. Although I wasn't wrong about the edgy. Ooh, big thunder outside. Right as I said the word edgy, that's kind of funny. With the bleeding from the eye. The big bad of the series is a ghost that when he kills you, he makes you bleed from your eyes. And it's like, and we see like at least 4 different characters do that in the first 5 episodes. So I'm like, wow, this is so dark and edgy. Like it's like childishly edgy, which kind of makes sense since this is a shonen series of questionable caliber. It This is like a solid 5, like a decent, light to decent 5 kind of shonen action supernatural series. I actually really like the premise of it. Is like, oh, when people die, sometimes their social media accounts turn into dead accounts, and that turns them into and ghosts that need to be exorcised. Great premise, actually. And I like the manifestation of powers based on your usage of social media. Our main character is a rage baiter, or a flame baiter, as they call it in this one. So he's got fire powers. One of the guys is like very white knighty kind of online, so or just like he calls people out online constantly for their bad behavior. So his power is essentially a banhammer. One girl is obsessed with an idol and borderline stalking him, and so her power is very sticky. I guess I can see the through line there. Also, she's very cute. I wish she was more in this series, but that's one of the issues with this is they really front load this series with a lot of characters. Like, there's a lot of people to keep track of right away. And so you're not able to, like, diversify the character. You're not able to invest in the characterization. What am I trying to... No. You're not able to get characters as characterized as you would like with when you're trying to juggle this many characters all at once right at the start. And so it just ends up with a lot of characters just kind of on the back burner. And also there's a lot of characters that are doing things where it's like that's the standard shonen thing to do, but it kind of doesn't fit with their personality. Like Asaki, the teacher, like he does the whole, like it's the Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen thing of oh, what if he gets out of control? What are you gonna do? And it's like, well, I'll kill him myself then. Which, like, I could believe Gojo doing that and saying that because he's fucking Gojo. Does Gojo say that at any point? I feel like he might, just to assuage the other head Jujutsu sorcerers or whatever. But when Asaki says it in this show, it just comes off as like poor characterization or just like completely out of nowhere. It doesn't fit with his character at all. So that's an issue. Also, this this manga really wants to be Demon Slayer. Like, we've got your Hashira stand-ins with all their little quirky shit. Jesus Christ, very thundery outside. But yeah, all the Hashiras doing their little quirky things, and being weirdos about stuff. That it wasn't good in Demon Slayer, but I put up with it for a while in Demon Slayer because I liked the core cast for a while, and the action was really fucking good. And the action is super average in this show. It's not really worth commenting on at all. There's basically no Sakuga in this whatsoever. And it's even got like a aesthetic that's not really conducive to a lot of Sakuga. Very flat character designs. Not great line work. It's just average across the board. again, I would, if I finished this would probably be like a 5 out of 10. So I don't feel like finishing it. Also, the composer absolutely plagiarized something from Taku Iwasaki, but plagiarized is a strong word. He lifted, you know, that comedic vocal line in Gachikuta in the soundtrack, the female vocal line. It's ha 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 ha. That one, you know, that one from Gachikuta. That shows up in this, but it's like slowed down by 20%. KG and I, shame on you. I liked your work better on what was the mermaid one? This monster wants to eat me. Better soundtrack work there. Yeah, this is. I was fine watching this for a little while because it was just fun shonen slop, but eventually I run out of energy for shonen slop and want like fun shonen good, which I think is what's next in the queue. But anyway, this show's incredibly mid.
Alright, that account off the list. Now it's time for better shonen. Jujutsu Kaisen, the Culling Game, Part 1. Yeah, I'd call myself a JJK fan at this point. We are well past the point in the manga where I dropped the manga, and really liked the last arc, Shibuya Incident, really solid. I've seen a lot of really cool experimental animation and cool shit on the timeline from this past season. So let's watch some cool shit.
Now that's some good fucking animation, let me tell you what. Alright, Jujutsu Kaisen, the Culling Game, Part 1. This is the third season and fourth installment of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a shonen series that I really like, but I don't think I'm ever going to, like, love. I really appreciate a lot of the stuff that it does, but also sometimes I just don't understand what it does. Like, it's not necessarily... Most of my problems with Jujutsu Kaisen aren't, like, that's a stupid character motivation, or this plot is too jumbled, or stuff like that. It's mostly that I just don't understand how it does things sometimes. Which I don't think I'm alone in. I know a lot of people have trouble comprehending, like, how the power system works and just how different curse techniques work in general. But despite that, fuck, this is some cool action. Like, yeah, like, yes, it's unbelievably well animated, and the Sakuga is really fucking good, and it's, again, I think, what was the other series I did this for? Much like Oshinoko, the compositing issues are, for the most part, gone by this point from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's just this very seamless frame. Everything looks like it belongs, and that helps the action tremendously. But also what really helps the action is just the sheer complexity of it. What's the director's name is, like, Goso or something for this season, and unfortunately I think he's not coming back for the next season. But man, the control over space within the frame is just so fucking tremendous. By far some of the best that I've seen from any piece of animation ever. Just the depth of the frame and how stuff moves around in the frame, especially with action, and just fucking with the frame as well, and breaking it apart and mashing it back together again into these very incredibly cool collations of animation. Uh, and on top of that, there's a lot of shots in here that are just like, it feels like he is going directly for like live action almost, like the techniques, the way things are blocked and framed, and the way the frame moves, and the way that things move around within the frame. A lot of it feels like shots that you would see from a live action project rather than anime. And the immense control over the animation itself, combined with that, makes this excuse me, an unbelievably gorgeous production front to back. There was really only like one section where I was like, oh, what are we looking at here? And it was like the sort of the introduction to the inside of the colony with the Sasaki, I think was the character, where he's walking with some other guy, and that was the only shot where I was really like, ooh, this is not quite as good. And that's pretty much the only one. Like, I don't think off the top of my head any other shots stood out negatively like that. But yeah, this is just really damn good. I love the line work for the character designs. I love the very, very intense color direction and these heavy reds and blues and blacks and greens. Just so... This series is just unbelievably fucking cool to look at for its entire run, basically. At least for this season. Because I have mentioned in the past that there were definitely some big compositing issues. In particular with Season 1 and a little bit with Season 2. But, yeah. This is by far the best that Jujutsu Kaisen has ever looked. And it also doesn't have the issue of... I mentioned in my review of Season 2 with the Shibuya incident that a lot of the time I would just feel like action overload. Like it was too much action front to back without a lot of pacing it out in between to let you come up for air, to let that excitement meter just dip a little bit so that you could come back up again. And so it just started to feel like burnout almost. That's also not here anymore. The action is paced out much better. And also the action is so much more interesting just on a narrative level as well. Just the things that are happening and the way that this project presents the things that are happening are just so fucking cool. This series is really fucking cool, even if I don't understand it most of the time. Like, I do not understand fully how domains work, or cursed techniques, or cursed energy. I do not have a firm grasp on that knowledge. Like, I had to look up how the Culling game itself came into existence, and I had to have people explain it to me. So something about this anime's power system just does not click for me. So that's a bit of a disappointment, and that's probably why this will never be a favorite for me, because I'm just sort of going like, wait, how did he do that? Okay, I don't get it, but it looks cool. Yeah. Fortunately, I really like all of the characters
doing that stuff. Yuji is in his sort of very down and out kind of phase for a little bit, with him blaming himself for Sukuna killing so many people during Shibuya, and him trying to get over that just so that he can live to see the next day and help his friends live to see the next day, which I think is why it's so important that he was the one to have the confrontation with Higuruma, that's the name, Higuruma, the lawyer character, and have this, essentially have him be put on trial of sorts, but it's just sort of immediately subverts your expectation for all of that by just him immediately, well, actually, really, based on the way it goes, it's not really a subversion of expectation, but it's more of a subversion of how that presentation usually goes, with him just immediately being like, yes, I killed a lot of people. And Higuruma just having to confront his own sense of justice over that. Also, I love the politics of Jujutsu Kaisen. Just the general vibe it's putting off of some very lefty stuff. Just like the unfairness of the Japanese judicial system and how it is designed for convictions rather than presenting the truth of the matter. I mean, the opening of this is just the horribly misogynistic leaders of the Zenin clan talking shit about Maki and Mai to no end. And it's just like, oh, you all suck. So felt really good to see them all die. That was probably my favorite part of this season, episode 4. Maki just taking down the entirety of the Zenin clan. Just the pure revenge and spite. Very sad to see her twin sister die, but still being able to pass on her abilities back to Maki. Yeah, I enjoyed the general vibe of Jujutsu Kaisen's politics quite a bit. I don't feel as, even though I like as a shonen action series, I like something like My Hero way more, but I'm also way more conflicted about My Hero's politics and what it's actually trying to do sometimes. Don't have that conflict with Jujutsu Kaisen at all. Gege be kind of woke. Good on him. Honestly, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I think I'm finally starting to warm up to Megumi a little bit, because for the first 2 seasons he was mostly just kind of a meh character for me. I felt like nothing for him really. And I feel like there was a bit more focus to him this season. A little bit more sense of the urgency with him trying to protect his sister from the atrocities of the sorcerer world and prevent her from having to join the Culling game. So, props to that. I finally get it, kind of. And my boy Yuta is back. Hell yes. I fucking love Yuta. like Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is one of my favorite things from Jujutsu Kaisen. Just it's a very tight and compact story that's extremely emotion driven and filled with pathos. And so seeing the star of that movie come back as a main character finally was super awesome. And he's just really fucking cool and smooth and fun. We didn't get a lot of Hakari this season. The new senior that they introduced, but I've heard rumblings from the manga readers that he is very important and also very cool. So, from the bits that I did see of him, he seemed like very fun. So I'm very interested in seeing where he goes from here. Yeah, I think that's just about all my thoughts on this. If I sat down and rewatched the whole thing, maybe I could get a better idea for how the power system works, but that's like a 50 episode commitment at this point. Actually, it might be I think both the first season and the second season were 2 cores. So now it's like a 60 episode and movie commitment at this point. So yeah, I'm not sure I'll be doing that anytime soon. But I'm really enjoying the ride so far. I have no clue where any of this is going, really, other than stay alive and beat Kenjaku. But I'm really excited to see how we get there. Hopefully, this series continues to hold up, even if the director gets subbed out for someone else. Yeah, I hope they keep pushing the envelope of what you can do with action anime. Alright, Jujutsu Kaisen Culling game complete. And we're going to put you in the number 5 spot with a decent 8. I think that's the highest score I've given to a Jujutsu Kaisen entry so far. Well deserved. I am very excited to see where it goes from here.